the craft of ambition. For 16 summers, threads have been woven into a loom of ambition. Some knot into gold, others fray to dust. The tally remains stark. A few tapestries dazzle, most unravel. There's no call to mourn the scraps or crown the victories. Just thread the needle and pursue the next pattern. So muses the seasoned artisan, words etched after a guild's salute. The Seekers of Wonder. Consider Soren Kale, who fled a crumbling shore in 1942, salt in his boots, hope in his pack. He drifted to a harbor town, sketching maps and myths, by a riverside school. Once a shadow among louder voices, he rose by the new millennium as a colossus of lost wonders, his troves silencing crowds. In 2003, a cache of shimmering relics, stone and hue echoing brilliance, passed to a northern council for $80 million in silver, a deal so lean they half called it tribute. In roaring markets, those finds might have fetched $1 billion. How does one snare such marvels? Splendor rides rogue tides, defying any compass. Who can sift youth's haze to pluck glints destined to blaze? Some label it guile, others shrug it windfall. Yet the keen watchers at Tidebreak Collective trace a sharper path. True seekers don't chase single gleams. They rake the earth, stacking troves high. Across years, a handful flare into beacons, lifting the heap to triumph. That's the craft. Picture these gatherers as miners sinking shafts into a vast vein. They don't hunt one nugget. They dig wide, hauling ore by the ton. Patience sifts gravel from gems, and rare finds light the way. Perhaps 98% of a hoard fades to echoes. No loss when the stray 2% shines like a comet's tail. Seasons of missteps, still birth sages, born by fleeting stars. The pulse of fortune. This rhythm echoes in trade and treasure. Wild edges, flickers at fortune's rim, forge the grand hall. A scattering of bold leaps can outshine a legion of steady steps. It gnaws at reason. A trader might stumble half her days and still stack a throne. It cloaks how common it is for beams to bend, for trails to twist. The breaks draw scorn, their silent weave unseen. Take Vera Thal, who spun wooden whispers into hearthside joys. Her carvings sang, yet wealth lingered shy. Early stalls crumbled, her works demanding deep wells filled by a wanderer's promise. By the late 1940s, countless baubles warmed souls but chilled her purse. Then, in 1951, the Embermare roared. 5 months piling $6 million, burying every prior splinter. Debts dissolved, kin gained iron bonds, and a bright forge bloomed on a wind-swept hill. A single wreath named her a flame. Thousands of forms shaped her days, but 79 minutes of Embermare crowned her reign. The vast, the rich, the storied, it springs from rogue ripples, 1 in 10,000 breaths. Crowns and blazing heights dazzle, their quiet valleys overlooked. When triumph births from the scarce, its deep, sharp roots go unnoticed. The wagers tilt some realms where their whirlwinds bold. Trailblazers scatter stakes across 40 routes, braced for half to wither, a few to sprout, and 1 or 2 to tower into jungles of gain. Scrolls from 2006 to 2016 confirm it. Of 18,000 casts, 60% wilted, 3% grew tenfold, 1.5% leaped 20-fold, and a whisper, 0.5%, some 90 stems, surged 50 times over. That clutch claimed the bounty's core. Most roots snap, rare shoots pierce the sky. Seek shelter in proven fleets? Their spoils mirror the wilds. Most driftwood, a few glide true, a scant handful soar, towing the harbor's wealth. A grand flotilla of 2,800, traced since 1985, tells the tale. 4 in 10 sank, shedding 70% to the void. Yet the armada climbed, 68-fold, hung on 8% that outsped the squall. Half the shapers of tools and tales dissolved to mist. 1 in 9 keepers of hearth fade. Hearthglow Co., a lantern in that fleet, wove sagas in the 90s, cresting to $350 million by '99. By 2005, missteps stacked, and it burned to cinders. Yet the flotilla's rise endured, carved by a sparse band of victors, endless presses, woven empires, outweighing the lost. The rare gales in 2020, one titan sparked 5% of a great index's ascent, tied to a runner's net and a vault of vapor. Another, fueled by a lone shard, drove near 6%. Their hands, sieved from a needle's thread, hires rarer than dawn's ray. Rims breed rims, from sparks to spirits. Mastery lies in stillness amid the clash, holding the helm when seas go mad. Treasure pivots on bracing for rare gales, perhaps 1% of a span, when dread turns throngs to frenzy. Imagine tucking a coin each moon from 1905 to 2020, riding market tides. One stands firm, gathering $428,012. Another skirts gloom, reaping $249,773. A third trails, fleeing late, rowing slow, at $231,904. The steadfast triples the hoard, enduring 290 shaded moons, 21% of the span. Or take late 2010, early 2011, a knot of days outshining a decade's drift. Windriders jest their trade is calm, pierced by jolt, treasure's twin. Crests hinge on meeting the shrieks, not the lull. The weave of ascent slips aren't stains, they're clay for ascent. A deft seeker might strike half her aims, a fierce shaper spark half her fires, a stout soul roam till the fourth gate swings. In this weave, 5 in 10 threads hold if you're grand, vowed a treasure scribe. Wings crave perfection, forges need pulse, coins an untamed howl. A sky cart stalls, a breath, its guide laughs, brewing deeper drops. A saga weaver slashes looms, craving wilder tears. We shine too safe. Rims demand daring. The honed peaks, scalds lay, seers trove, rise from rough hue. Verses test in dim hollows, shedding the frail. Thousands of stakes strike rare flame. Clip our best, an echo sighs, and we're plain. Right or wrong matters less than how winds roar, how misses hush. Half astray, wholly throned, it rings. The fiercest rim this orb spins amid 100 billion kin, yet only here do minds flare. To trace this weave atop the fiercest rim is a blaze to clasp. Next comes how wealth fans it higher.